What is going on, everybody? This is RadTechShoe, and I am bringing you part 8 of my Devil May Cry 2 LP Lucia storyline. So we're going to go ahead and have a quick glance at the power-up menu. I'm not going to buy any upgrades for my swords and my ranged weapons. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and get myself a purple orb just because. I just felt like increasing my Devil Trigger gauge a little bit. So we're still underwater, and we're going to be underwater for a majority of this mission. However, we will head out on land, and that will be it for this area in terms of the water. So as you can tell, we're greeted by an old friend. We have blades in the water with us, and they're nowhere near as aggressive as they used to be. But anyway, go ahead, swim up here, interact with the wall, and we will find our 8th secret room. This room is filled with Sargasso, so pretty much, so you don't need to worry too much. They do kind of get me every now and then, but I should have just kept doing range attacks on them. Instead, I was trying to do melees because I was fighting them one at a time, and I thought maybe I could get some combos going and get a decent combo ranking. But I couldn't do that because the Sargasso were just, my physical attacks just didn't want to reach them all that much. So I just ended up throwing my daggers and killing a whole lot of them. So in this mission, we are going to obtain the final Arcana that is needed to try and stop Arius. And we will rendezvous with Dante in a cutscene at the end of this mission. So we are going to go obtain the final Arcana, and then we will head over and do the last segment in the destroyed city of Ouroboros, and that part of the game. So we're just going to go ahead, kill off the rest of the Sargasso, and then we'll continue on with the mission. Now, including the secret room, there is something else to get here. And for the love of me, I don't know what I was thinking. I could not find it, but there's a gold orb here, and I had trouble finding it at first, and I just was drawing a blank. I'm like, where in the world is it? I thought it was right over here. I thought it was underneath this broken area. So I decided to play around with the cranky bombs a little bit, try and mess with the blades. As you can tell, it doesn't really even do all that much damage to even these weak enemies, the blades. But for the most part, I'm just kind of playing around and not really caring all that much. I just thought I'd, just have a little bit of fun. But for the most part, there's a gold orb. It's off to the left, and I'm about to go over here and find it. And I'm like, oh, there it is. So now that we got the gold orb, that's all there is in this area. In the starting area, we encounter a secret room and a gold orb. That's all there is out here. There's nothing else. I mean, there's a red orb in an alcove. You don't have to go get it. And I'm about to quit playing around with these guys. But for the most part, like I said, right over there is the red orb. I'm going to go get that real quick, and then we're going to proceed and rise up to the surface. We've got a few more swimming ordeals to take care of, but for the most part, this is going to be the last of the swimming missions here for this part of the game. We're finally out of the water. Jump all the way up. We have a little bit of a challenge ahead of us, and not by a challenge I say is it's difficult. I'm saying we have a task. If you look at this obelisk right here, or whatever this thing is, monument, whatever, there's nothing behind it right now. But as soon as we reflect its power, which basically means knock its attacks back at them, and I struggle to do this. For some reason, my timing was way off, and I don't know what was wrong with me. But we have to knock it back 3 times. We have to knock back 3 fireballs to destroy it. And once we do, the area will become flooded with water. However, the statue, it will crumble like so. Behind the statue, there was nothing there, but now that the area is flooded with water, there's a blue orb fragment hidden behind here, so go ahead and swim over and get it, and then you can go ahead and proceed. Like I said, you probably noticed that you probably didn't have to flood the room. You probably could have used the aerial heart to get up here and fly out yourself, but you would have missed the opportunity for that blue orb fragment, as it was not there until the room was flooded. So, you know, you can take your pick on what you want to do and how you want to tackle that small little challenge. But once we're done with this redhead statue, we're going to attack the orbs. For some reason I fall in again. We're going to attack the vases, my bad. We're going to get some red orbs, and then we're going to head down, jump in the pit, and go through some more water sections. Oh joy. Now, once we go down in here, we have two ways we can go. We can either go straight across, or we can take the underground path. And I recommend the underground path. If you go straight across, you're going to fight some enemies, as you can tell. However, if you go this way, ignore the enemies, go through the back door, and then go underground, it will lead you to the other side of the room. You'll bypass the enemies completely, and you'll get some red orbs, as well as a blue orb fragment. So you definitely want to make the trip down here. So as you can see, we rise up on the other side, no enemies to be found, we can gather all the goodies, and we can just move on. So we're going to jump out. Well, actually, we're going to double trigger and swim up the tunnel and then jump out. So right in through this door, we have a small puzzle we need to take care of. This puzzle room, this room layout, and the glyph and the light of blue flame hint looks very familiar, as it should. It is the exact same puzzle that Dante encountered in his second mission of his playthrough. So all we have to do is destroy these things until all the red flames turn into blue flames. Now that the puzzle is solved, instead of the door being opened automatically, we have to get to it. These water pillars rise up, and they're actually a little tricky to figure out where you are in regard to the pillars. Like I said, you can easily misjudge where you are and how high and how far you have to go, because it's hard to see Lucia's shadow. So with a little bit of practice and through trial and error, you'll make it. No problem. Head through this door. We're going to take out all these Gumbusiras. God, I hate those names so much. These stupid names. I freaking hate them. But once we take out all these guys, we'll pretty much be able to move on, and we're going to obtain a new Devil Heart. And as you can see right here, I'm just kind of playing around with the cranky bombs again. I'm trying to show you the land-based combat and how impractical they can be. You know, sometimes she will not even throw them near the enemy she's targeting or locked onto. Like right there, she threw it right at the wall back at herself. So, like I said, the cranky bombs, they do a fair amount of... when they explode, they stun their enemies. Yeah, it's cool and all, but I'd have to power them up, and I don't want to power up something that's highly impractical. So, like I said, I just wanted to show that. And so I'm just going to use my throwing daggers and then just kill these guys. But now to get the new Devil Heart, we have a bit of an objective. These three orbs are similar to the three jars or dolls or whatever those things were, where Dante had to shatter all three of them, and once all three were shattered for a limited time, he had to run around the corner to get the Devil Heart before the barrier rose back up. And Lucia's got the same concept here. What we have to do is we have to break one, quickly break the second, and then quickly break the third, and then run down the hall and get our Devil Heart before the barrier comes back up. And even though I'm out of Devil Trigger, I still managed to make it. So now we have the quick heart, and Lucia can run really fast when she's in Devil Trigger. So right over here is a God of Time statue. I'm going to go ahead and get myself a nice, hefty, juicy little blue orb. And then we're going to go ahead, head down the hallway, smash all the jars on the way, and we're going to initiate a familiar boss battle. And after the boss battle is complete, we will obtain the final Arcana. Okay, so surprise, surprise, we're fighting the Plutonian. No, and actually, for the most part, I kind of foresaw this coming, even though I'd forgotten about this part in the game. I was like, because I remember in the Dante storyline playthrough, he gets here after Lucia, and the Plutonian just sits up. It was on the ground in the room, and it just sits up. And as you saw, the Plutonian came walking in through the door to fight Lucia. So obviously, Lucia defeats this guy, but he's not completely dead. And he just falls over, and then when Dante gets here, he sits back up, and he has to battle Dante. So it's not too much of a surprise. I kind of figured that we would be fighting this guy just because Lucia had to beat him already in order to obtain the final Arcana, and then Dante would show up afterwards. So this guy is pretty much the same battle, just dodge all of his short swings. I would have finished this guy off with a nice high combo rating had the lasers not gotten in my way here at the very end, but you're going to see me fail to finish this guy off with a nice high rating. Once he is beaten, let's go grab the Arcana and end the mission.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Yes. Now we can stop Arius' ambition.
Whatever.
But actually, I do not deserve this power. Bring this to Mathieu for me, please. I've got something that I need to take care of.
Okay, so now that we're all done with that, we're just gonna move on. You know, nothing too special or fancy. A B seems to be the basic average rating I always get. Nothing you haven't seen before, so we're just gonna go ahead, save our game, and then we're going to move on to the next mission, where Lucia goes to try and confront Arius by herself. As you can tell, as you remember from the first storyline, she'll try and confront Arius, and then Dante will save her after she gets captured. So I will see you all in the next video.